Hello, I'm Emmeline.
And I'm Kindy.
And welcome to Stuff with Moms, a podcast about shows, stories, and enjoying life. So, Kindy, how's your week gone?
Pretty good. Emmeline, my baby Emmeline's birthday was this weekend, and we went swimming on Saturday, and it's just another day for her. I think we're going to get to a point where we'll be inviting people to celebrate with her, but I figured this second birthday is a good way to not do anything because she's not going to remember. We'll do cake tomorrow, but I think we'll start having parties. I'm pretty sure my family and Matt's family are wondering why we haven't done anything with them and her birthday yet, but it's mostly because I'm lazy and I just don't want to put on a party. So unfortunately this year, though, is the year to do Anders' party celebration with other people. So I have to just come to grips with that. But yeah, so it was pretty low-key week and just got a bunch of stuff done-ish, but not really. I feel like the older I get, the more tired I am, which seems odd because I feel like I'm always tired, but I can't recover as fast. And I don't know why this whole week I've been staying up later. And I think it's just because I'm like mentally, there's things I have to get done that I'm putting it off. Like there's things I need to do with work. I don't want to do it. So I'm just going to sit on YouTube till 1:00 in the morning and not do anything, including going to bed when I should be. I have a problem. I got to figure out why I do that. I don't know, but it is harder to recover because here it is Sunday and I'm even went to bed early last night and I am wiped out. And being in the sun and going to the pool is exhausting. Like, how did our parents do this? Where it's like taking all their kids, especially both our parents who had more than 2 children. Yep. I'm like, oh my gosh, that must have been exhausting. And we're not doing that this weekend. We're just going to stay home and do chores. I think that was their solution to not have to always take us places was, oh no, we have to do chores.
Sorry, we can't do
their way to get
fun
out of
things.
Yeah.
We have to work around the house. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And you have boxes, I see, in your home.
So many.
So how was your week?
Oh, we've been packing like I feel like a Tasmanian devil.
Yeah.
He was always my favorite Looney Tune. I don't know why. Because now I watch it, I'm like, he's not my favorite now, but as a kid, I related to Taz, I guess. I thought he was funny and always spinning in a circle and going around being crazy. And he would say, a few words that you could actually understand.
And then the rest were gibberish.
Yep. But that's why I feel like we're packing and cleaning and trying to figure
like
things.
It's just chaotic.
Yes. And what today didn't help, today we slept in and got to church late and, well, not late for us. We are still 10 minutes early, but, Lorenzo needs to be early to help set up things. And so he didn't really have time to really help. And I had to meet with people and so, and then we frantically sat down, and then I was like, oh, I forgot to do this and this, and then it was just crazy. And I'm just like, I feel like a chicken with my head cut off right now.
Just running around everywhere, not getting anything done.
So there you go. I'm a chicken and I'm Taz.
Quite the combination.
At the same time, it feels like we are doing the right thing, and it's good. Yeah. So.
You're going in the right direction.
Yes.
Yeah. So have you guys decided in regards to your stuff if you're taking it or leaving it?
Yesterday, we sold a whole bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
That I was like, we just aren't going to take this with us. And some of it, and we've thrown away some stuff. And I'm like, I'm not moving that. And nobody would want it. So, we've thrown a couple of things away. That's one thing is like yesterday why it was so crazy is I was like, I'm going to get all this stuff done. And then I posted all these things on, you know, a marketplace. I got like calls and texts after that, like all day, and I couldn't do anything else. And so
get rid of your stuff.
all day I was just like, you know, contacting this person and telling them how to get here and negotiating prices. And it was just, and I was like, all that stuff that I wanted to do. I did mow the lawn, so that was nice. And a couple people showed up while I was doing it. So, and poor Lorenzo, he is in charge of clearing the yard before, because we have 2 golden willows, and golden willows are beautiful trees, but they're because they're willows, they have kind of weak branches. And
so yesterday, a lot of branches drop.
Oh yeah, a lot of branches drop. So we cleaned up the yard yesterday morning before I mowed, and then we had this huge wind come through, and it just our 2
dropped
giant golden willow trees. Our yard is covered in branches. Our whole yard. No. Like, it isn't just right around the tree like it normally is, but because it was this huge windstorm, it blew them everywhere.
Oh, no.
And Kyle took Lorenzo outside, and he's like, Lorenzo, look. And Lorenzo's like, I'm not doing it again today.
Got so mad. All his work was for nothing.
Yeah. So, poor kid.
Yeah.
But we'll have a good weenie roast this week and just enjoy outside one night one more time, you know.
Yeah.
Wonderful evening.
Crazy packing.
Yeah. And resume more crazy packing and cleaning.
I'm so sad that you're going to humidity and hot weather.
I'm excited about it because there's downsides and upsides to everything, you know, but I love green. I love gardens. I love, you know, and when you move to somewhere that's humid and wet, it's easy to grow things. You're like, wow, I'm good at this.
Yeah. That is true.
So
that is very true.
Okay, you have the obscure holiday for us.
I do. So July 15th, everybody, is Gummy Worm Day. So if you've been holding off on eating gummy worms, this is the day you can revert back to your childhood and just shove a bunch of gummy worms in your mouth. So these were actually created and marketed by a German company named Trolley, which I didn't know that. And there's also another one that makes them, Haribo, which I think their candy is so good, even though they're the same. Like, both companies are really good. But Haribo, whatever they have created stuff, like there's like sour stuff that they make that I can't really find very easily. But, oh, man, so good. So
gummy worms are my favorite. I know gummy bears are great, so but
gummy worms are like, they're more fun. There's more gumminess. I feel like the gummy bears, like, they're gummy when you first open them, but I like the worms, their gumminess lasts longer.
Yeah.
But so
yummy. Yummy gummy.
Yummy gummy. That's right. So there's ways you can celebrate. You can share a bag with a friend or eat a big bag all by yourself. You can bring gummies. Yeah. Prepare to be sick after. You can bring gummies to work and share them with your coworkers, and if you're feeling up to it, you can make gummy worms yourself from scratch.
Ooh.
And apparently the gummy word comes from the German word gummy, meaning rubber. So that's fun.
That is fun.
So July 15th, have yourself a gummy worm and enjoy.
Awesome.
Yeah, Emmeline.
Make that one dessert, dirt, where you have with Oreos and chocolate pudding and gummy worms.
And you put gummy worms in it. That would be a great way to celebrate Gummy Day.
Gummy Worm Day.
Not just Gummy Day, because you don't want to celebrate a bunch of rubber. You want to celebrate with gummy worms. So keep that in mind.
Well. All right, I have our word of the week, and it is Fubsy. It's an adjective. Okay?
Okay. Fubsy. Fubsy Wubsy was a bear. That's what it makes me think of. Fubsy. I want to say it's something where you fumble something up so bad that you fubsied.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure that has nothing to do with
no,
it, but
that's fun. That's fun. Okay, this is a British dialect word.
Ah.
I
should have asked the origin.
Usually it doesn't have an origin, but this one just happened to have it. So it means short and stout.
Ah.
So
Fubsy.
Fubsy Wubsy may have been a teddy bear because he would have been short and stout.
Yeah. That's awesome.
But
Fubsy.
Fubsy means short and stout. So there you go. There's a fun word for you. Use it this week. Grow your vocabulary.
There you go. All right. And then I've got good news. And I am talking about a nurse who was on a flight. They were heading back from a vacation in the Bahamas with her. She was flying back with her boyfriend when a flight attendant had asked if there was anyone on board with any medical training. And this nurse popped up and offered her help. There was a passenger having a medical emergency, and she volunteered. She describes the tension during the moment, and she says that on our way up there, I was trying to pre-game, like, hey, if we have to do compressions, I need you to do compressions. I think she was talking to her boyfriend. And she's like, I'll take care of everything else. So they get there and she starts performing CPR for about 23 minutes.
Wow.
Before, with just 7 minutes until landing when a medical team finally showed up.
Oh my gosh.
So he was rushed to a hospital as soon as the plane came to a halt, while Rains was treated to a hero's welcome as she returned to her seat farther back in the plane.
Yeah.
So,
of course.
Yeah.
Holy
Right?
crap, that lady.
Yeah, she said, we were amped because it's so awesome to have that feeling. And afterwards, you're just like, oh, wow, we did this. We saved somebody's life. And they pretty much did. So a short time later, Rains, the nurse, that she was a neonatal nurse, she actually received a message from the gentleman she saved. His name's Michael. She received it from his wife expressing her deep gratitude for saving her husband. Oh, so, yeah.
That's really awesome. Good story.
Right? So she saved a husband on her way home.
And there you go, folks. It's important to know CPR.
Yep. Yeah. All right. So Emmeline is going to tell us a story about Misty, an old dog of her family's drinking Ensure Plus.
I sure am. Okay.
What happened with this?
This is a funny story, and I'll try and make it short. So Misty was our dog. This happened when I was in high school. And she was a beagle. And something about the beagle breed is that they will just eat and eat and eat until...
Oh, no.
And they follow their nose and stuff. So there's that as a premise. Also, as another... before the story is I had a gastrointestinal tube in my stomach. Now, for me, I had a hard time gaining weight my whole life.
Yeah.
And when your body is struggling to maintain warmth and because your body heat's low, you get sick easier. And that, for me, with cystic fibrosis, was hard on my body. So the doctors were like, we'll give you this. It's called a G-tube for short. And in your stomach. And at night, will give you food during the night, so it will help you gain weight. And it worked, like, because I got it in sixth grade, and I was only 69 pounds in sixth grade.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I was a skinny little thing, and within a year I had put on 20 pounds. So it worked well, and then I kept putting on weight, and you know, it was good. It was very good for my body.
Yeah.
So what I would put into it was like a bag that held this fluid. It was high calorie. It was like milk. It's like milk. If any of you know what like Pediasure is, or Ensure Plus, or
it's like a protein shake.
It's like a protein shake. Yeah. Okay. Like, what's that other one? The breakfast one.
Oh,
Instant
yeah.
breakfast. Instant breakfast. Stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's those. And so I'd pour it into this bag, and it went through this machine that would pump it through and pump it into my stomach while I slept. And so one night, as I was preparing my things, I'd have to go get the bag from the bathroom and put it in my room, and I'd brush my teeth, because as soon as I got attached to this pump, I was kind of stuck in my bed till morning.
Gotcha.
Unless I had to like unclamp and stuff and do things in order to get up out of my room. So I'd go do my nighttime things. But this night, I opened up the cans of my Ensure Plus on the floor, and it was 4 cans, and they were about the size of a soda pop can.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so I popped the top on all of them, and I'm like, oh, I haven't brushed my teeth.
Oh,
so, no. and I would always just leave them on the floor, because that's where I did it. I'd be kneeling down, and I'd pour them into the bag, and then hang the bag up, right?
Yeah.
So I opened them all up, and I was like, oh, I forgot to brush my teeth. So I went to the bathroom. I was brushing my teeth, and got all done. And then I went into my room, and Misty is over these cans, looking like down into the hole.
Whoa.
And
that tiny hole?
That tiny hole, and it's made of aluminum. Her tongue was like her face was this bloody mess. I was like, It was like a horror show. She was covered in blood. There was 2 of the cans. She had drunk all she could get out of them.
Oh my gosh.
And they were these bloody messes on top. And she was getting into the 3rd can.
Yeah,
right?
She's like cutting herself.
Cutting herself.
This.
Yes. To get to this fluid.
Beagles. Oh, Misty.
Oh my gosh, Kitty. It was I was like, And so I like grabbed her, ran to the bathroom, and just like poured cold water into her mouth to like close off
clean up her mouth.
Clean up her mouth and close off all the wounds, because cold water helps constrict things. And anyway.
Clean off her bloody face.
And then, I cleaned off her bloody face, and then threw away the cans and had to open new ones. And anyway, because they're all bloody inside. You know?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Beagles.
That is
so if
crazy.
you have a beagle and you have a G-tube and you're opening your Ensure Plus cans, don't leave them, or make sure your beagle is put away for the night or whatever, if you put them in a crate or whatever. Yeah. Anyway, don't make that mistake. Listeners, all of you that applies to, which is probably 0. But maybe somebody out there.
Maybe, yeah.
Don't leave open cans on the floor.
Some odd chance of, somebody having the same experience. Oh. That's like gross and sickening and sad all at once.
And kind of funny.
The determination on that dog.
She was.
Oh, man.
There's more stories where that comes from her, but I'll tell them a different time.
Sounds good. We got to have more material, so you can't tell everybody the things.
All the time, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so
shoot.
now our movie quote for next week's episode, so that you guys can be thinking and try and guess what movie we're going to watch. Here's the quote. Was that the same nothing that broke my last couch? No, that was a totally different nothing.
Yeah. Speaking of Fubsy.
Now we are going to have the rest of Kindy's interview from last week, which I know you guys have been looking forward to it. And it is so good, you guys. Kindy just has so much insight. And Kindy, your interview was awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. So here you go. Here's the rest of the interview.
Enjoy.
So what was your rank and job title or your training? I don't know what it's kind of called. I don't know all the jargon.
Are the terms. Yeah. So I was oh my gosh, I was a 96 Bravo. So that's what because they give you a test to kind of see where your intelligence lies for the Army.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think I was like a couple points away from being in doing anything medical wise, which kind of would have been awesome, but whatever. I think that's where my true calling could have been. But because I'm really calm under pressure, like under crazy pressure, not like life pressure. Cry in the corner half the time. But like battle pressure, I guess. I don't know. But I've never been in like real danger either. So I don't know if just training counts. But anyway. So I didn't get that, but I did get the job title of being a analyst, intelligence analyst. And I know it's an oxymoron for the Army, but that's what I was able to do. And so it's actually was pretty awesome. So that was the job I went to training for AIT. Don't ask me what it stands for. Don't even know. But that's basically where you go after you become a soldier. They basically break you down and then you go to AIT to learn your job. I started as a nothing, so I was an E1. By the time I got out of basic, I was promoted, but I wasn't. They didn't officially like give the paperwork, so it didn't happen. So I was still an E nothing when I went back to my unit. And then I can't remember when I think I got promoted when I was in AIT. And then I guess I was supposed to be a specialist. So that's like an E3 by the time I got back to my unit, but I wasn't. I was still at E2. And I was like so military minded that everybody kind of laughed at me because in the National Guard, it's very relaxed.
More
like
laid
very
back.
Relaxed.
Okay.
Yeah, way more laid back. And so I came back from being like, yes, specialist, no specialist, yes, sergeant. They're like, calm down, just call me John. I'm like, okay. So yeah, that was cool. But then when I was deployed, I'm like, I don't know, who the freak am I supposed to be saluting? By the time you're up on me, I'm like, oh, I was supposed to salute. And bye, sorry. So yeah, that kind of was a drawback, but it was also nice because nobody cared. So yeah. And then by the time I left being in the military, I was E6. So before I deployed, I was promoted to a sergeant. So that's an E5. The E is just enlisted. It's like the difference between officer and non.
Okay.
Oh my gosh, what is that term? It's been so long.
Recruited? An officer
No.
or recruit?
No, I can't remember. Some of our military listeners are probably yelling at me right now. Yeah, anyway, it's non-commissioned officer. That's what it is. It's officer and non-commissioned officer. So that's basically what the E is. So anyway, it's just shorter abbreviation. So I was at E5 by the time I was deployed. Although I wish I had stayed a specialist. That's like the sweet spot where you don't really have to do anything, but you don't have to be in charge of anyone. So, and I still didn't have to be in charge of anyone, so really I got away with it. And then I finished my service as an E6, and I actually, when we got back from deployment, I don't know how this happened, but I got roped into being trained as counterintelligence, which in the Army, it's not really a whole lot of, I don't know. I didn't have to use it, so it just went in one ear and out the other. And then somebody told me, they're like, you're totally going to get deployed again because you're an analyst and you're counterintelligence. And I did not. I did tell Matt though, I was like, if I get called up, I'm getting pregnant. I probably would have gone, but
right.
that was just, I don't know. I was like, I served, I'm good. But thankfully, I think they're less inclined to call women back, but I don't think they needed me. So there wasn't anything going on that was crazy. We were like coming and going out of Afghanistan. We're coming, we're going. Nobody knew what was happening. Now we're not there anymore. So it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So was the training you received adequate or helpful in your life now in any way? Could it have been different?
I wish it stuck with me. Like who I was after I came back from deployment, I was more sure of myself. I felt more, I mean, I'm still kind of the way where I'm less, I don't like public spaces. I hate being in crowds. I'm better now. Like I'm not as anxious. I can handle it. I just don't like it. But I don't know. I've never really reflected much on it. I know it's helped me a lot in my life just with how, I don't know. It's kind of like a sense of pride that I've served my country, even if I didn't deploy, I signed up willingly and knowing that I was going. I remember my recruiter, he's like, this isn't the iffy thing. This is 100% you're going to be deployed. And I was like, okay, that's fine. I still signed the dotted line. It was kind of funny because in basic, there were a lot of people who were like, yeah, my recruiter said I wouldn't be very likely to be deployed. And I was like, you guys got snowed. So, because I think it was like, right. Yeah. Because we were still in Iraq and Afghanistan. And so my recruiter I liked him. He was really cool. I wish I could remember his name, but he was really straightforward with me and he was really cool. But I did learn kind of like what I could handle when my boundaries are pushed and kind of I was able to kind of, I don't know, just realize that I am strong and I am, a better person for it. There were certain things where I was like, this is not helpful. Like, for example, the combat training. Most of it is, okay, get on the ground and start wrestling with each other. It's like, okay, when is this going to come in handy? Oh, I don't know. Never. For me, I mean, I'm sure it's different with individuals that are combat training, and I'm sure they got more when they were in their field training for it. But for me, it was like, I'm never going to use this. And I never have, and I never will since. Like, I don't remember half the things that they taught me with fighting hand-to-hand combat. Like, I don't remember anything. The only thing I remember is like sitting down, it's back to belly, so you're both facing the same direction. Mm-hmm. And then you're like, if I'm behind, my legs go around the other person, and then like I don't even remember the other things because it's like, this is never gonna happen. If I ever get in this situation, I'm pretty much dead. I'm a woman and not as strong as a dude, so I'm definitely
And we're
keep my
gonna
M16
sit
on me.
and put our legs around each other and then wrestle.
Yeah.
Like, what?
Yeah.
No.
Right. That was one thing where I was like, yeah, this is not helpful. It was interesting because there was a part where we did bayonet training, and I remember like almost crying because we're sitting there like yelling and poking this and I can't remember if we actually had bayonets or not, but we're basically poking this dummy, and I'm like imagining being in Vietnam and like actually killing people. And I'm like, what are you doing? This is just a game. This is just because it really is a mental process that you're going through. And one thing that I do appreciate my ex-brother-in-law for telling me is that it's just a game. It's a mental game. You chose to be there. And I really appreciated that because that was one thing that I thought of when we were doing that. I chose to be here. And then we went through this little mini course and it just was fun. I like it. Yeah. It sounds weird. But I also went to basic at a time where they were transitioning from like super hard, brutal, just keep you up all hours and torture to where it was we were required to have like 6 hours of sleep. That was our requirement. And I remember going to church and talking to this lady where she was like, she was so stressed out. She was losing weight and losing her hair. And they wouldn't let him get more than 4 hours of sleep. They'd wake him up in the middle of the night. They had him do these drills outside when it was raining. I mean, just brutal. So ours was pretty much like a camp out compared to hers. So
Wow.
yeah, but it really is. It's just they're just trying to beat you down to be submissive so that you'll follow orders. So, but I had fun whilst doing it. I don't know if there could be anything different. I mean, it's the military. You pretty much are there to, follow orders and defend your country, and so yeah. I don't know if that answered your question, but
that's fine. Some of them I was like, I don't know. I'll just ask.
Yeah.
Okay. So did 9/11 have a big impact on the National Guard, on the Army, on your group,
on my choice to join?
Yeah, on your choice to join, or on like what you guys did? Like, I don't know. Just on the National Guard in general?
Because I didn't know what the National Guard was doing before 9/11.
I guess that's
so
true.
I don't know like what kind of I don't know what kind of training they did. Because I joined way after. Yeah, so I don't know because I joined
2 years after.
Because that was 4 years after.
It was 2005.
9/11 was 2001. Yeah.
Okay.
And I joined in 2005. So, it didn't really have an impact on my choice to join. Sorry. I remember, so at the time I was working in an office that was right across the hall from my sister's office. So we worked really close in proximity to each other. Mm-hmm. And I could see her working and I was working. And it was during my decision of joining or not joining. And I remember looking over at her. So this is my oldest sister, Nikki. And I thought I would take a bullet for her. I would pretty much take a bullet for my whole family. I don't know if that was like my, okay, I'm going to do this moment, but I don't know. I think that helped in my journey of deciding. I don't know what my final like, okay, I'm going to do this moment was. It's too long ago, and I don't think I wrote it down in my journal to remember. But at the time, it kind of didn't. It wasn't like I'm going to help get, fight back. It was just kind of, I want to help protect my family.
Cool.
So, yeah.
I like that. Okay. So, do you have any other stories about when you were deployed? Or do you have stories about when you were deployed?
Yeah, I do actually. It was a few, not a ton, but we were only there for about 11 months. We went, when did we go? It was December or November of 2008. And then we left. No. Holy crap. Oh, so 2008, we did training at camp in Arizona. Oh my gosh, I can't even remember when I was there. Anyway, so while we were in Afghanistan, they right before they kind of teach you about the culture and they teach you about some words and things. And so assalamu alaikum, I'm probably butchering the pronunciation of it, but it's like a greeting. And so I'm walking back to my my I can't even remember what we call them, but basically where I sleep, my little living space, my little shack, from where I worked. And I was walking by myself, and there was a group of Afghan men walking towards me because they would let them on base to work. And as I was walking towards the group, I go, "Assalamu alaikum." Not a good idea. Not at all. All of a sudden, they start going crazy. I have no idea what they said. I have no idea what their attitude about it was, but just awful. I walked right in the middle of this group. I was like, okay, bad idea. I just kept walking.
Oh my gosh.
Thankfully, nothing happened. And there wasn't a whole lot of people around either. So they could have definitely beat me up, or whatever. And
you could have used your combat skills that you learned.
Oh yeah, hey, hold on. You gotta sit down with me so we can start wrestling. That's true. Yeah. I did have a loaded M16 at the time, so they probably were not going to mess with me. But they didn't know I might not have used it. I don't know. Who knows? But anyway, just such a bad idea. After they passed, I was like, okay, don't do that again. That was stupid. Just don't talk to any of the men. So part of being an analyst is that I worked with the counterintelligence part of the military. And so after they got the information, I was supposed to put it together and present it and say, based off of this information, this is what I suggest you do with this detainee. And so there were times where we would sit in the booth and talk to these individuals. There was an interpreter. I got put in there with one of the detainees, and the interrogator, I mean, this was a plan. He prefaced this with, this is what we're going to do, because you're trying to like mess with them and kind of rattle them up. And so I'm sitting in there with him by myself. He's chained up, so he's got, cuffs on his wrists and ankles, and we are both staring at each other. And this probably was not a good idea on my part. I probably just should have looked down on my notes and just like scribbled or drew or whatever. But we were basically having a staring contest. And I'm like, I am not looking away. You are a dirty man. I don't know what I was thinking, but yeah, and he like, he probably was so pissed and like, how dare I? Because in their culture, women are objects. They're not. They're just for baby making, and that's it. They're covered. That's kind of how their culture
they're
is.
submissive.
Yeah, and here I am, just like staring at him. My head's not even covered. I'm just in military attire, not with my rank or my name on. So that's part of the thing, is you go in and you don't have we had Velcro at the time. I mean, they still do, but so we were able to take it off, but because
Velcro patches
Velcro patches of like your name and rank, so you could take them off, because before that they were sewn on. So that was good. We didn't have to like tape over anything, but Yeah. So we just had like a little mini staring contest.
Oh my gosh.
And then he broke because the
You won the staring contest with the scary guy?
Yeah. He broke because the interrogator came in. So
woo, Kindy, you got the power of the eyes.
Yeah. Well, or just the idiocy of being naive. I think I was, how old was I when I went over there? 23, I think. Something like that. So yeah. Yeah, it was interesting. Yeah. The weather was pretty much the same as Utah. In fact, the mountain range that we were near it was very similar to the Wasatch Mountains.
Okay.
And so I basically felt like I was in Utah. I didn't feel like I was in a different country. So, but yeah, it was really cool. I made some really good friends there, and I loved my unit. We're mostly LDS, and so we were able to have services. We even had seminary while I was there.
We were mostly we were mostly from
we were mostly members of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. Yeah, good catch. So we had church services, and we even had seminary, and so it was a really good unit to be over in Afghanistan with. And
that's nice.
One of my it's the weirdest thing. So the military, with National Guard, with the Army, they any physical strength that you have, they really admire. So I was a runner, and so while I was in AIT, I ran really well. I was like in really good shape. So I remember, I know this isn't my deployment, but I don't know. It's if you can be good at your physical fitness training, then they really like you. Like the leadership is, I don't know. That's like gold, I guess. I mean, and I wasn't a doof either, so that helped as well. I had common sense, so that helped me. And anytime we did drills, it was so much fun just running around like I was in combat, in a combat unit.
So
anytime we did that kind of training.
So how fast was your like mile or how?
So in AIT was my fastest. I was 6 minutes and 10-second mile.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
We had to run 2 miles. And they have men and women ranked differently.
Right.
So women, to get 100%, you just had to run. This was kind of dirty, but you just had to run. I think it was 12 or 13-minute miles. So yeah,
and you did 2 miles in that
slow.
amount.
Yeah, yeah. So, and like push-ups are different, and we didn't have to do pull-ups, but sit-ups are different, and so I pretty much maxed out. The sit-ups, I always had a hard time, so I didn't max out on those. But we don't have to do as many push-ups either. I don't think I maxed. I think the only thing I maxed out on actually was my run. But there was a drill sergeant. So when we started AIT, you pick different groups to run in, because like every other day, one day you run. One day you do cardio, another day you do strength training and things like that. And so we were doing running for a while, and then they decided to break us up into different groups, and everybody was talking about this drill sergeant and how he's super harsh and blah, blah, blah. So he was in the A group. I was like, well, I'm a pretty good runner, so I'll just go in this group. So I was in this A group. And then I was in the front. I don't know how that worked out. I think he told me to go into the front of the group. And so I was basically tracking I didn't fall back. So we were basically running side by side, and you had to stay in formation.
Okay.
I mean, when you're working out and you can't stay in with the group, then you fall back. It's not like you're going to get in trouble. I mean, you could get in trouble. I don't know. But you do push-ups. It's like, okay, make me stronger. Sure. That's like your punishment. It's like, okay. And I remember this drill sergeant was, everybody said he's super harsh and everything. So I could tell he was pushing me. And so I actually did really good. It's like the only good performance I did my whole life, and I was able to stay with him. So anyway, we got to know each other with running, or not like we had a conversation or anything, but he was aware of me. I was aware of him or whatever. He's one of those big, rough, tough guys. But probably just on the surface, you get him outside of that, and he's probably really, really sweet. But anyway, there was a challenge that he gave me that if I could run 2 miles under 12 minutes, then he would do flutter kicks in front of the whole unit. And if I didn't, I would have to do flutter kicks. And I was like 2 seconds. I was 2 seconds away from making 12-minute run.
No.
I was so mad. So I was like, all right, I guess I got to do flutter kicks. And so I talked to him. I was like, so when are you going to make me do flutter kicks? He goes, you're so close. I think we'll just call it a draw. It's like, okay, that's fine. So that I will always be proud of that moment. But anyway,
that's awesome.
It was downhill too, so that helped. I just lengthened my stride and just went with the hill. So it was like a short decline. So that was helpful. So it wasn't entirely super hard, but I think I was on that day, I was the first one to cross the line.
Wow.
The finish line of running.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Good job.
I'll never do that again. I'm like, I don't even run now. So but we did. It was funny though, because I was still in good shape when we were deployed. There was a guy who, because everybody knew I was really good at distance running. My reputation preceded me, except I just didn't care to keep it up. So it just got worse and worse, and I wasn't as good. But this guy challenged me to run a sprint, and I'm not a sprinter, so I knew I was going to lose. But it was all for fun, and we had a blast. There were a lot of people that showed up to watch this challenge that he gave me, and if I could remember his name, Perkins. I can't remember his first name. He was so fun. He was so cool. I think he was younger or older than me. I can't remember.
Well, it's one or the other.
Yeah. That's hilarious. Yeah. But one of the days, because there was a turkey run that we did while we were in Afghanistan, and I think it was the day of or day before, I can't remember. Anyways, he challenged me to a sprint, and he totally kicked my butt, of course. So, but that was fun. What else? Yeah, and that's pretty much it. Oh, I fainted. This is so embarrassing. So I went out for a run, and the whole base, I think it's it was a 9-mile diameter. Anyway, so I ran the whole base, and stupid me, I didn't drink enough water. And so there was something that I had to be at afterwards. We were practicing some ceremony for something, I can't remember. And I locked my knees, which you're not supposed to do when you're standing for several minutes.
Periods of time.
Yeah, long periods of time. And so the next thing I know, I look up and there's everybody's around me. I'm like, what's going on, guys? They're like, you just fainted. I was like, oh. My bad. I must not have had enough water to drink, because I didn't. I went running and I didn't drink enough water. So all you listeners out there, drink your water.
Yeah, like we suggested a couple weeks ago for National
Right?
Hydration Day.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah. So that was embarrassing. Oh, should I tell my I was in AIT and I peed my pants. That was fun.
because they were making you stand there and you had to go or something, or
No, it was all on me. So we're at the last part of AIT. So we're just learning some final touches and kind of putting all of our knowledge together. So in the military, they train you stuff and then they want you to show you that you know it by doing a scenario or a training. And so that's what this was at the end of my AIT. And we're out away from like the main base. We're basically camping out somewhere. And we have to get in our gear. So we're pretending as if we're going on a patrol to get to this other spot. So when we cross the road, one person passes at a time, and then they get down and watch the road, and then the next person passes, and then they get up and they move on, and then the next person. So kind of like a little we're at war, and it's kind of fun. And so we get to the class and we take everything off. We've got our Kevlar, we've got our vest, and the vest has the plates in them, and we've got our water, our belt with our water, and then our M16s. But I mean, that we take those wherever we go. So that's in the building with me. But I have to pee. And I didn't realize how bad I had to pee. So I mouthed to one of the ladies that was there to be my battle buddy, because everywhere you go when you're in basic and AIT, you have to have a battle buddy of the same gender. And so I mouthed, I was like, "Will you be my battle buddy?" And she nods her head. I was like, "Okay." And so the instructor's like, "Do you need something?" I was like, "Yes, actually. Can I go to the restroom? Sorry to interrupt." He goes, "I got 5 more minutes. Can you wait?" I was like, "Yeah, I can wait." Oh, I could not. So by the time he gets done, I go outside. I have to get my Kevlar on. I have to get my Kevlar vest on. I have to get my bottles, because they have like those canteen type things. You got 2, and they're on this belt that you have to get on. And they don't let you wear zippers. These pants that I'm wearing are button up. There's like 5, 6 buttons.
Oh my
So
gosh.
there's no zipper. There's just like 6 buttons. So we're walking, and the porta johns aren't very far. They're probably like 20 feet away from the building, but you still have to put all this stuff on because we're at war, right? We're pretending anyway. And so halfway there, I have to squat down to kind of compose myself so I don't just pee right there. So I'm composing, and then I think I've got myself composed. I get up and I get in the porta john, and I'm like, "Oh, so close." And you know when your body's like, "You're right here.
I'm ready.
Going." Yeah. And just everywhere. So I have my battle buddy come. I go back to our little camp spot. I get cleaned up, wipies, I mean the best I can. And I just tell myself, okay, this is mostly water because I've been drinking a ton of water. This is not pee. I don't know if I stink. I mean, I have no idea, but we're all camping, so everybody smells. So it's, I did the best I could with what I had. So I think nothing of it. I think, at most I'm going to be humiliated in front of, in front of the unit, because here I am, I peed myself. Somebody's going to find out. But it's like and that's fine. I'm like, I don't care. I'm a 21-year-old. I'm secure enough to know that this is like not normal, and I'm not going to do this again. Although there were a few times that I thought I would. And so I I'm expecting to just everybody be laughing at me at some point, and I'd be laughing with them because it's hilarious. It's like you're 21 years old and you peed your pants, not like a little bit, like full on,
all of it,
drenched. Yeah. I mean, I got some in the Porta John, so that was I didn't get all of it on me, but anyway, so I got the opposite reaction. The drill sergeant, one of the female drill sergeants pulled me off to the side, quasi by myself, asking if the if the instructor needed to be reprimanded and if I needed to like press not charges, but I mean, like if there's an issue. And I was like, no, this is on me. He gave me the opportunity to go. I just thought I could wait. So there was nothing. If anything, it was everybody reassuring me that it was okay because they had peed their pants in basic training because their drill sergeants made them. And so I got lots of like different peace stories from different people of like their military experiences, because we were also doing this training with like other individuals who were getting reclassed, is what they call it. So they joined the military, but they wanted to do a different type of job. So they were getting the training as well. So they didn't have to go through the stuff we did, but they were still in classes and things. So it was these individuals that were telling me their military peace stories. And so, but it was awesome because then anytime I had to pee, they gave me free reign. Because after we did this fighting drill thing where we had like shells everywhere that we had to go clean up, I told one of my my like lead people at the time, I was like, hey, I need to use the restroom. He goes, okay. So he starts yelling at everybody to like get away so that I could pee by a tree because there weren't any bathrooms. So it was awesome. I had like the power of pee. Anytime I had to go, they made it happen.
Oh, that's awesome. Oh, that's a good story.
I should be embarrassed by that, but I basically tell anybody because it's funny. Yeah.
Good for you.
Yeah. I own it, I guess.
Yeah.
But
so when you were being trained and getting deployed, you went to all these different countries. What was that like? Well, not all these different countries. You went to 2 different countries. What was that like? Or were you surrounded by Americans and it didn't feel very different? I guess you kind of said that it felt like Utah, so.
Yeah. So we started training.
But like Korea, what was that like, I guess?
Yeah. Korea was actually really cool. It has like a different smell to it. Like kind of how any foreigner comes here, they talk about how we smell different. It is very true. Because when I was in Korea, it definitely smells different. And I bet if I got a whiff of something, it would remind me of Korea. But yeah, I didn't go out. I think the only time I went out of the base was when we went to, they have an underground mall. And I wish I could remember the town that I went to. I like kept everything because I really thought the writing and everything that they did was really pretty. Like even just like a bus ticket, it was just so cool to me. And so I kept one of those. Actually, we went to a monastery and I bought a book, and the only thing in English is the title, and that's it. It's like the Book of Happiness, and everything else is in Korean. And it is the coolest. It's so pretty. I'll have to find it. Maybe I'll take a picture of it for the show notes, but I just thought the title was so cool and I didn't even care if I could read it. But I bought it at one of the monasteries that were there. Or not the monasteries, like the one of the Buddhist centers that they have.
Okay. Buddhist temple?
Yes, thank you. That's probably what it was called. Yeah, but they're just so peaceful there, and that was really cool. And then we went to they had an underground mall, kind of what what they have at Pikes Peak in Washington. What town is
I
that
guess I've
in?
been to
My
the
little brother is yelling at me right now. He's telling me, but I can't hear him. Pikes Peak, Washington. Pikes Peak Market. Oh, Seattle, Washington. Durr. Yeah. So if anyone's ever been there, it's like they have a market, and then they have like underground stores and stuff. And so that's where they had this mall where, it's like a thing. It seems like everywhere you go that's foreign, they have like underground malls or what have you. But it was the coolest thing, where you just are underground and the majority of the mall is underneath other shops. I thought that was really cool. They drive super crazy. Lights, like traffic lights are optional. You're lucky if they stop. When I was there, it was new. They were new, I guess, and it's probably not. It's probably been around forever, but they just are insane. It's insane driving there. I thankfully didn't ever have to drive. I think my sister did, or we took like public transportation. Cause holy crap, I would never, ever, ever. I would do public transportation. That's it. Cause even the buses, like they get really close.
Oh man.
But yeah, Korea was really cool. I had so much fun there, especially when it came to the training time. Cause basically what it was is I just hung out with another, I can't remember if she was a specialist. I think she was a specialist, and we just hung out together in the office that she did. I helped her with like just stupid menial office work, but it was super fun. She was really cool. So yeah, I wish I could have been deployed there, because that would have been fun. But alas, I only stayed there for like 2.5, 3 weeks. So yeah.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
So what was a typical day like? Like getting ready, what did you do?
So I would wake up before the sun was up, so probably around 5, 6 o'clock. I would go shower. It was always freezing cold in the morning. Even when it was in the middle of the summer, not like freezing cold, but it was colder because you're waking up, your bed's all warm, and you get out and it's cold. And you have to walk somewhere else to go shower, and it's it's in these it's in like the 18-wheeler trucks, or like those shipping containers that so it's basically shipping containers that have been modified to be a shower/bathroom.
Okay.
Like multiple levels. So you have like the first level and the second level, and the first level is the showers, and second level is the showers, and the first level is the bathrooms. And it is literally like you're walking into a shipping container to use the bathroom. So I would go and I'd take a quick shower, and you turn the water on and you turn it off, and you get washed up, and then you turn the water on to rinse off, and you turn the water on to rinse off, and then you turn it off and then you wash your face, and then you turn it on to wash if you use
rinse,
like soap. Yeah, to rinse off. So you're basically turning the water on and off. Or just taking a super quick shower, because you're not supposed to take very long showers, because the water is pretty sparse, and they actually they drop off crates of water just in different corners of like our living spaces. So you can grab bottles of water to take back to your living space. So
Is it called like a bunk or something?
No, because there's no bunk bed. It's basically just like it's like a house with a hallway, and in the hallway on the left and the right are bedrooms,
Okay.
but the walls don't go
Dormitory.
all the way up. Yeah, it's kind of like a dormitory. They're very like they're not very warm, so in the winter time you kind of have to have like a space heater, and they're okay cool wise, because they did put heaters and AC units in them, but I mean they're not like, it wasn't like there were windows, like here in your house. They were just kind of hodgepodge together. I'm trying to think that it wasn't plywood necessarily, but it was something like that, but thinner, that these little houses were put together with.
Mm-hmm.
So, but yeah, you didn't have to share, but you had a very tiny space.
Mm-hmm.
But it was cool. You could kind of decorate it how you want. So then after that, I would come back and get all the rest of my gear and go with somebody to get food at the cafeterias. We called them something different.
Commissary?
I can't remember what. No, because that's a grocery store. It was something different, but I can't remember what it's called. And then
mess hall?
Mess hall. Yep. Yeah.
I got some military jargon in there somewhere.
Yeah, you do. Yeah. So then I'd go in there and then go to my office in it's basically like the jail of where all the detainees are at. We were on the second floor, kind of the top floor above all the detainees, and so the detention center. So it wasn't we didn't call it a jail. It was just the detention center. It was in the middle of the base, kind of. And so we'd go there to do our job, and then after that, we did 12. I want to say 12-hour days, and we had weekends off, so it was really nice. Yeah, and then go and eat and either work out, or some people were taking classes. I took a couple online classes, or you just hang out with friends, other buddies, or movies, or you read. You kind of just do whatever. It's kind of nice and oddly relaxing because you don't have other pressures of life. You just do your job and then do whatever you want after hours.
Cool.
Sometimes I'd wake up super early and go running by myself. And
you didn't need a battle buddy to go running?
They suggest it, especially at night, because there were instances of abuse.
Okay.
But yeah, not in the morning. I figured people are too tired in the morning to get up and intentionally, like, I don't know. I felt like shady things would happen more towards the nighttime than early at like 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning. But who am I? Some 23-year-old idiot that's like, I'm gonna go run. I stayed in the light because there was one main, they called it I don't actually know what they called it, but it was like a street that had lights all along it, and it was just a straight line, and it was through the main parts of the base. They could have called it Main Street. I mean, but I kind of doubt it. It was Main something, Main Strip, or I don't know, but
Main Avenue.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, but it was all lit up. And then with eating, there was a Burger King there that you could eat at. Kind of tastes the same. It was slightly different. Or there were like other restaurants you could go to, like something that was more of the local cuisine. There was a base I went to that you could go to get some like R&R, and it's not as like, so R&R is like relax and rest.
And relaxation.
Yeah, rest and relaxation. Yeah. I was actually going to go because while deployed, our unit was letting, we were doing rotations of like taking a week off and going either home or somewhere else. And I was actually, somebody gave me some advice to go foreign and not go home. So I was actually going to go to like England or something.
Mm-hmm.
But my little sister was going to get married. So I went home instead. So Kelsey and Josh were getting married while I was deployed, and they thankfully switched because I was actually supposed to go at a different time, but since they were getting married, they let me switch it to when they were getting married so that I could be there. So that was really cool.
That's really nice.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so awesome. Once you were home, what did your military service look like? Was it a few days a week, that you had to go in, or what was it?
No, it basically went back to normal where I was just doing 2 weekends a year. 2 weekends a year. Weekends and 2 weeks a year. So 1 weekend a month and 2 weeks a year. I was actually towards the end of my service, and before I was deployed, I was actually working in the office full time. So I was full-time National Guard before I was deployed. Mm-hmm. And I actually enjoyed it. It was nice. But while I was deployed, I actually felt like I should come back and go to school. And I think that was Heavenly Father being like, no, you're going to meet Matt. So you have to go back to college. Because I could have gone right back to full-time military again, full-time National Guard. And I would have made really good money and had good benefits. But that was something that I felt like I needed to do. So it kind of wasn't that much different from what I was doing before I was deployed, other than the full-time military service. So yeah, I was actually, while I was in training to be deployed, I was actually interviewing for a job that if I got it, I wouldn't have to go to Afghanistan. But okay. I felt like, and this is the weirdest thing, and I don't even know why, but I felt like I should go and go to Afghanistan and be deployed.
Okay.
So yeah, I listened, and I was deployed, and it was a learning experience. It was very, very eye-opening to kind of learn how other people live and that kind of aspect, and then I also felt like I should go back to school when I got back, and so I kind of was going with it.
Cool.
Yeah.
That's really awesome. Yeah. Do you feel that you were helping contribute to like the Army National Guard as a whole, or did you feel like most of everything you did was like busy work? Or
yeah, I felt like most of it was busy work. I was not very good. I mean, I did my job, but there was actually a group that connected some dots and was able to stop something, which I thought that was really cool. And the lady who helped contribute to that, like, they were just a really good team, and they worked really, really well together. And I don't know. I just it wasn't like, I didn't get it. I think for me, like, it wasn't something I even understood what I was supposed to do. Like, I didn't feel like I was sufficiently trained to do, because everything just seemed the same to me. Like, nothing stood out. Everybody's name seemed the same. Everybody looked the same, which is not true. But I mean, you go to Korea, everybody looks the same until you actually get to know the culture, and you start, you spend time around that culture and you understand the differences. But I mean, all white people look the same. Not all black people, but I mean, different cultures look the same until you get to know them, or until you spend time around them. Because I remember when I moved to Arkansas, the first time I've ever been around a black person before, everybody looked the same until I got to know them. And because Utah was very not as multicultural as it is now. It still could use some more culture, but anyway, so I just, it was just busy work. I sucked at my job. I was not good. I could have a staring contest, but that was it.
How do you think serving as a female differed? Do you feel like you were treated differently or in a negative way?
I probably was. I don't think in a negative way, but I do appreciate and understand, at the time that, like, I don't know, my role was slightly different, but nothing stood out to me as far as being treated different as a woman. I just was there to do my part in whatever that would or could be. So not really.
Oh.
I just felt like everybody was on the same team trying to do good things, and that yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, so what are some things you learned from being in the military, and would you do it all over again? I mean, would you do it all over again?
I would. Not now. I wouldn't do it all over again now, but I would definitely do it all over again. I just got that.
Okay.
She wrote the question down twice, and that's why she asked it twice. Yeah. But yeah, I think something that I learned from being in the military is that I like to make sure that everybody's on the same page, to the point of where it's like probably it could come across as micromanaging. And I remember in basic training, it's like the last week that you're in basic, and you have to, like I said, they train you and then they test to see, they want you to put it all together. And so we were out camping. Camping, I use that loosely. We had set up camp in this area, and we were supposed to be patrolling, and we're monitoring. And one night we're getting attacked by the drill sergeants, and it was the funnest. Like, we would run out. I'd run out of the camp and look to see if everybody was okay. Like, it was just a hot mess. Like, we didn't know what we were doing, but it was still fun. Like, I'd run out and be like, okay, who's where do you see the bad guys, and let's pretend to shoot at them, or whatever. And then they were trying to see where everybody was, and they'd shoot flare guns out. It was the white ones. And so when they would do that, I told everybody to duck, because I thought that was part of their plan to see where we were. And so I told everybody to lay down when that came, and then they like called us out. They're like, we just need to see where everybody is. Okay, we just need to make sure everybody's here, so stop doing that. It was hilarious. So that was fun. And then that morning we were, I don't know, it's something that I've learned about myself, and it's carried over, and it's something I didn't know that I had, is that if I see something that needs to get done, I think it's something that my grandpa Crook instilled in me, just telling me to do things for my grandma, and the fear of him and not getting yelled at. All my siblings and family members know what I'm talking about, is to just look for something to do. And so when we were closing up camp, I just would run around and be like, okay, because we didn't know how to put these tents back. Like, the camp was set up when we got there, because we hiked into it, and with our rucksacks. And so we were trying to figure it out and trying to hurry, because it was freezing cold, because we were in Missouri, and I went in November, and it was December at this point. So
okay.
So yeah, not the funnest time to be there, but I got more money for being there at that time because it was less crowded. There were less people. Anyway, so we were trying to break down camp, and we were trying to figure out how to do it. And I don't know what it is, but during basic, I was always the first one to be done of all the women. And so I'd go around and help everybody else so that we could get out there fast. Because if you're not fast, they'll make you do push-ups. So I don't know if just things being put together, like it makes sense to me. Anyway, so I figured it out, and then I just walked around to different people telling them how to do it. And some people did not like it, especially others that were not in my unit. And so that was interesting. But there was something that happened though that was kind of terrifying. I can't remember what it was. I think it wasn't really terrifying. It could have been terrifying because you don't know what the freak is happening. Because when we were being quote unquote attacked the night before, like there were gunfires and things like that, and I didn't panic. I was actually pretty calm, and have just kind of been that way. I've been in a couple car, not accidents, but car flippings with ice and snow. And I didn't scream, I didn't panic. I just kind of, kept my wits about me, and then just handled the situation at the time. And I've often thought, like, I could probably be in some sort of, like, I don't know, some high pressure something and be fine and probably decompress intensely, but just handle stressful situations. But I've definitely learned a lot about myself and what I can handle and what I can't handle. It's surprising that when you go overseas, what others can handle you doing. My mom definitely had a hard time with me going over to Afghanistan. And my brother told me, don't call her. If she ever hears this, she might get mad. But she just had a really hard time. So I would write her emails and letters and things. So
you wrote me letters.
Yeah.
It was great.
I did. And I got letters from you and Tim and Jonica, and even combined.
Yep.
It was fun. I still have them even.
Oh, that's great. I have yours too.
Yeah. Do you?
Yep. They're in my
That's
memory
awesome.
box.
Yeah. That's awesome. Yeah,
well, the listeners and I appreciate that you were willing to talk to us a bit about that, and we are grateful for your service. So if anyone wants to reach out for you, where can they find you on the interwebs, Kindy? Do you have like a podcast or something?
Oh, well, funny you should mention that. I do. You can find me at stuffwithmoms@gmail.com. All right, so our movie quote that Emmeline quoted for us is Speed Racer.
Yep.
Yeah.
Speed Racer.
This is a movie that Emmeline suggested, and I'm glad she did, because I would have not known its existence. And yes, that's all I'll say on that one.
So we'll talk all about it next week.
Help us grow, tell others about us, share something you've learned with others to get them interested. The only way to help us grow is to share what you've heard here. So if you want to help us, that's a great way to help us. And you can interact with us on our website, our Facebook page, or our email. There are link and information in the show notes, and we would love to hear from you. We would like to thank Red Productions for the music, and Jonica for our logo, and again to our listeners for sharing what we do here to others and for listening and being a part of what we do. We appreciate ya. So, Anders, a while back, he wanted baby Emmeline to sleep in the room with him. So Matt asked him one night, "Why do you like Emmeline sleeping in your room?" And he says, "'Cause Emmeline keeps the monsters away. I keep the monsters away too." So
That's cute. Oh,
yeah.
what a
Kids
good
are
brother.
cute. Yeah, he is a good brother. He loves his little sister. Sometimes he doesn't, but for the most part, he loves her.